It started with a grocery bag, one that had vanished from the kitchen counter like smoke. I was sure I'd left it there, full of snacks, my usual comfort food stash for the week she'd be gone. But now, it was gone. No crumbs, no wrappers, just the faint scent of salt and vinegar in the air, as if someone had opened the chips and eaten them quietly, right here. At first, I told myself I was just tired. We'd argued the night before she left. Lisa had been distant for weeks, but that night she finally cracked. "I'm going to my mom's for a few days," she said flatly. "I need to think." That was 3 days ago. She left early the next morning. I watched her suitcase roll down the hallway, heard the front door shut behind her, and then silence. The first night alone was peaceful, too peaceful. Our house is one of those suburban splits with long hallways and too many doors. Usually it creaks and clicks all night, but that night, everything stood still. Until the second night. That's when the door to the basement was open, just a crack, just enough to see the light was on downstairs. I stood there staring at it, heart thudding. I hadn't been down there all day. Maybe I left it open, I mumbled to myself. Maybe I forgot the light. But I couldn't shake the sense that I hadn't, that I wouldn't. Then came the footsteps. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard them. Not like the house settling or the floor expanding. Real footsteps. Slow. Measured. Upstairs. My bedroom is at the back of the house, and the sound was coming from the hallway just outside. I held my breath. Listened. They stopped. No door opened. Nothing creaked. And still, I did nothing. I told myself I was imagining it. Morning came, and the hallway was empty. But something had changed. The air smelled different, like shampoo. Lisa's shampoo. I checked the bathroom. Her loofah was wet. I touched the towel she always used. Damp. The logical explanation was terrifying. Someone had been in the house, was still in the house. So I checked everything, every room, every closet, until I got to the hallway closet, the one we never really used, the one where we kept old blankets, a space heater, and the vacuum. I opened it. Nothing. Except something shifted. I reached behind the vacuum and there it was. The heater was warm. Still warm. And that scent, faint but there, Lisa's perfume. I staggered back, dizzy. The bag of chips, the footsteps, the wet towel, the heater. She never left. That night I locked my door, slept with the lamp on. But I didn't sleep. At 4:15 a.m. I heard the doorknob turn. Very slowly, just once. Then silence. I held my breath for 5 minutes straight, heart slamming so hard I thought I might pass out. Then I got up, crept to the door, and put my ear to it. Nothing. I waited until sunrise. And then I went to the hallway closet again. I didn't knock. I didn't say anything. I opened it in one motion and saw something I still can't explain. She was crouched in the corner of the closet, knees pulled up, arms wrapped tightly around them like a frightened child or a wild animal backed into a trap. Her fingers were red, scratched, her nails chipped and dirty. She'd clearly been trying to dig or scratch through something in there. Behind her was a rolled-up blanket, 2 empty protein bar wrappers, mine, and a half-drunk bottle of water. And her eyes, God, her eyes. They were bloodshot, hollow, like she hadn't slept in days. But the worst part wasn't how she looked. It was the recognition. This wasn't some stranger squatting in my house. This was Lisa, my wife. "Lisa?" I whispered. It came out strangled, not out of joy, out of fear. She didn't speak, just stared, silent, unblinking, like she didn't know who I was, or like she did and didn't trust me. She reached out slowly with one hand and closed the door again. I stood there, frozen. For 10, maybe 15 seconds, I didn't move, didn't breathe. My pulse thundered in my ears. It was like my body didn't know how to react. I opened the door again. She hadn't moved. Lisa, what are you doing? I said, softly, crouching down to her level. She glanced past me, toward the hallway. Then she whispered, "Be quiet. He's listening." My stomach dropped. Who's listening? She raised a trembling hand and pointed to the floor. He's under us. In the vents. He hears everything. I stood, backed up slowly. Lisa, there's no one here but me, I said. You've been in this closet for how long? 3 days? She didn't answer. I called your mom. She said you never arrived. Where have you been? What are you talking about? She rocked back and forth, murmuring something I couldn't make out. Her lips moved, but the words didn't match the sound. She wasn't praying. It was like she was reciting instructions. Or a warning. Then she said clearly, "Don't go in the basement. That's where he watches from." That word again. He. I turned, scanned the hallway. Nothing. No lights, no creaking, no movement. But something about her face. I believed she believed it. Lisa, listen to me. I need you to come out of there. I need to take you to a hospital. You're not okay. No hospitals, she said sharply. That's what he wants. That's where they take people who remember. I stared at her. You think I'm crazy? She said, suddenly lucid. You think I had a breakdown, that I imagined it all? I didn't answer, because I was thinking that. She crawled a little closer, just enough so the light hit her face more directly. I saw now that the scratches went all the way down her arms. Faint bruises circled her wrists. Old, like restraints. I didn't go to my mom's, she said. I was going to, but I stopped, at a gas station. That's where they got me. Who? I don't know. They wore masks. They asked questions. About you. I felt a chill spread through my spine. What questions? I asked. Her mouth opened, but instead of answering, she screamed. Loud, piercing. I staggered back, hit the wall behind me. When I looked back at the closet, she was gone. No sound, no footsteps, nothing. Just the blanket, just the empty wrappers. I turned the house upside down looking for her. Every room, every vent, the basement, but she was gone. And when I checked the security camera on the front door, it showed nothing. No one had come in. No one had left. By noon, I'd searched the house 3 times, top to bottom, every window, every door. I even checked behind the drywall panel in the laundry room that we never got around to fixing. Nothing. No Lisa. No trace of her, except the closet. The air still smelled like her perfume, but faintly. Beneath it, something else. Coppery. Sour. I pulled out the blanket she'd been wrapped in. It was damp and warm. Something had been spilled on it. I sniffed it. It wasn't water. It was blood. That's when I called the police. I told them the truth, sort of, that I thought someone broke in, that my wife had gone missing. I left out the part about her being in the closet, about her saying someone was listening from beneath the house. They searched. They asked questions, took notes, checked the perimeter, the locks, the windows, everything intact. Nothing looked forced, no signs of struggle, not even the blood was enough. It wasn't significant. That's the word they used. I felt like I was losing my mind. They left with a report and a promise to keep an eye out. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the hallway outside the closet, waiting, for hours, just staring at the door. I left it open this time, left the light on. Nothing happened. Until 3:17 a.m. That's when the light flickered, not the hallway light, the one inside the closet, a single bulb screwed into the ceiling. It buzzed, died, came back, died again. Then, movement, not inside the closet, behind it. A soft creaking sound, like someone shifting their weight against the wall, or inside it. I got up, walked slowly toward the open space. The closet was empty, just the vacuum, the shelf, the dented baseboard from where Lisa had huddled. But the back wall, it looked different. Not freshly painted, just off. Like the shadows didn't fall right. I reached out and tapped it, hollow. I pressed harder, and the panel gave way. Just an inch, just enough. Behind it, darkness, a narrow crawl space, no insulation, just wooden beams, cobwebs, and something else. A ladder, leading down. I didn't even think. I grabbed the flashlight from the kitchen drawer and lowered myself in. My hands were shaking, my breath loud. The wood groaned under my weight, but held. When I reached the bottom, I found myself standing in a space I never knew existed. A dirt floor, concrete walls, old storage racks, and in the center, a chair, metal, bolted to the floor and straps, worn, frayed, blood on the edges. I was still staring when I heard it. Behind me, 3 words, spoken softly, right against my ear. He knows now. I spun around. Nothing. Just the dark. But something had changed. I wasn't alone anymore. I ran. Didn't even bother climbing the ladder. I scrambled up the beams like a rat, cutting my palms on splinters, hitting my head against the rim of the opening. I shoved the closet panel shut and fell back into the hallway, gasping. Every light in the house flickered. Every damn one. The overheads, the floor lamps, even the microwave display, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then it all went black. Total silence. Then came the whisper, low, male, like breath in my ear, though I was completely alone. You shouldn't have come down. My phone screen lit up by itself. No notifications, just the camera, open, facing me, recording, and a message. Stop. I threw the phone. It skidded across the hardwood and hit the wall with a crack. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, the power was back. Everything seemed normal. But something in the air had shifted. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was watching. I left the house, drove aimlessly for hours, ended up in a motel off Route 9, paid cash, didn't use my name. I couldn't go back. Not yet. I called Lisa's mom again. This time I told her everything. About the closet, the blood, the basement. She went quiet, then said something that made my skin crawl. She used to say the same thing, when she was little. What? That there was someone under the house, listening, watching. She told me it stopped after she met you, her mother added. I thought you saved her. Saved her. Like from an illness, or something worse. I asked if Lisa had any history of delusions, psychosis. Her mom went quiet again. Then, no. Not delusions. But things. Unexplainable things. I asked for details. She hung up. I sat there in that motel room for hours, staring at the wall, trying to piece it all together. And then I remembered something. The first month Lisa and I moved into that house, she had nightmares. Every night. Woke up screaming. She'd whisper in her sleep, say things like, he's watching, or the light's wrong. At the time, I thought it was stress. Moving, marriage, a new job. But now I wasn't sure. I drove back after dark. Not because I was ready. Because I needed answers. The house was still. Too still. I unlocked the door. Walked in. The lights didn't flicker this time. Everything was quiet. But I didn't go to the closet. I went to the basement. I needed to see it again, the crawl space, the chair. Only now, when I turned on the light, there was no opening, no ladder, just solid concrete wall, like nothing had ever been there. I stood in the center of the room, heart hammering, whispering, "No, no, no, no." I stepped back. My foot hit something. The chair. Still there, but moved, now facing me. and something was on it. Not Lisa, something wrapped in her scarf, and a note. I unfolded it with shaking hands. You opened the door. Now you can't close it. She's his now, and soon, so will you. That's when I heard it again. A soft creaking above me. Footsteps, in the closet, or maybe coming down the stairs. I didn't move, not because I was frozen in fear, though I was, but because I couldn't tell which direction the sound was coming from. Upstairs, behind me, inside me. The footsteps stopped. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It pressed in, thick and electric, like the air before a lightning strike. Then came the hum, low, mechanical, vibrating through the floor, into my knees, up my spine. I looked around wildly, heart slamming. And then the basement light died, pitch black. I reached for my phone. Gone. I turned slowly, arms stretched in front of me, groping through the darkness. I found the stairs by touch and climbed them in silence. Each step screamed in my bones. When I reached the top, I opened the door and nearly screamed. The house had changed. The walls were wrong. They were ours, but not. The paint was cracked. The family photos, all of them, were blank. Just empty frames. The couch where Lisa and I used to fall asleep watching movies, shredded. The rug was gone, and the smell, something foul, damp, like old wood and decay, and something sweet beneath it, rotting fruit. I walked through the house in a daze, calling her name. No answer. But things kept changing. Behind me. I'd glance into the hallway, see a mirror, turn away, look back, no mirror, just a smear on the wall. Then came the whisper again. But this time, it wasn't behind me. It was inside my mouth. It spoke as I breathed, as if my lungs were no longer mine. He's watching through you now. You opened the door. I stumbled to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. My reflection blinked out of sync, then smiled and whispered, "Soon." I punched the mirror so hard I felt bones crack, glass scattered like shrapnel. I fell to my knees, panting, bleeding. And then I saw it. Behind the shattered frame, not a wall, a tunnel. Dark, narrow, lined with old wood, leading deep into the house, or maybe beneath it. And just before I passed out from the pain and fear, I saw something move inside it. Something crawling, fast, toward me. I woke on the bathroom floor, alone. The blood on my hand had dried, sticky and dark. The mirror, gone. The tunnel behind it, sealed. Nothing but drywall, smooth and undisturbed, as if I'd hallucinated the entire thing. But I hadn't. My hand throbbed with proof. I cleaned the wound, wrapped it, stood in front of the spot where the mirror had been. I touched the wall. It was warm and beating, like skin stretched over something alive. I stumbled back. Then I heard it again, Lisa's voice. Faint, fragile, calling my name, from inside the wall. I pressed my ear against it. Her whisper trembled through the plaster. "You have to close it before he steps out." "What is it?" I whispered. "What the hell is he?" No answer, just a soft scratching sound like fingernails dragging along the other side of the wall. I ran. Through the house, room by room, searching for another passage, another crack, another opening. In the bedroom closet, I found it. Behind a row of coats, the drywall panel was loose again. Same narrow crawl space, same cold air, and something waiting at the bottom. This time, I didn't hesitate. I crawled in. My breath shallow, heart threatening to tear itself out of my chest. At the bottom, everything was different. Not a basement, not concrete, just dirt. Endless dirt walls, branching tunnels lit by a low red glow from nowhere. And a sound, wet, rhythmic, like breathing. I moved forward. Each step took effort, like wading through a nightmare. Then I saw her, Lisa, strapped to the same chair, but not the same. Pale, eyes wide and unblinking, lips murmuring something silently. I rushed to her, reached for the straps. Her eyes shifted, finally focused on me. "No," she croaked. "You're not supposed to be here." "I'm getting you out," I said. "You can't." Her eyes filled with tears. "If I leave, he leaves too." Then the light changed, from red to black, and behind me, he arrived. I didn't turn. I couldn't, but I felt it, breathing, close enough to freeze the sweat on my neck. Then, a voice, calm, mocking. "You keep coming back. I like that." "What do you want?" I whispered. "You open the door," it said. "Now you must hold it open, or take her place." I turned, and saw nothing, just darkness, endless, and something inside it. Something smiling. Then Lisa screamed, "Run!" I grabbed her hand, and we ran, blinded, but not alone. It followed. It always would. We didn't find stairs. There were no stairs, only tunnels, endless, branching, twisting like veins. The air got colder the deeper we went, and it was breathing with us, matching our pace. When we stopped, it stopped. When we ran, it surged forward, just out of sight, whispering through the dirt walls like it was inside them. We turned corner after corner until the light faded entirely. I had no idea how deep we were, or if we were still under the house at all. Lisa stumbled, collapsed against the wall. "I can't," she gasped. "It's in my head again." I knelt beside her. Her skin was ice. Her eyes flickered, not focusing on me, but on something just over my shoulder. "He's showing me things," she whispered. "Not memories, versions, of us, living here, dying here, over and over, different deaths, same house." I gripped her arms. "We're getting out. Do you hear me?" She looked at me, suddenly sharp. "You have to seal the door." "How?" She swallowed. "It's not a door like you think, it's you. He needed a host, a key. That's why he brought you back." I froze. "Brought me back?" "You've never left. You've been here the whole time." She pointed at my chest. I looked down. My shirt was soaked in blood. Not from my hand, from a wound I didn't remember getting. Then I heard him. Behind me, beside me, inside me. Almost time. The air cracked, the walls shivered, and the ground beneath Lisa split open. A hand shot out, gray, long-fingered, slick with something that hissed as it touched her ankle. I grabbed her and pulled with everything I had. But it was stronger. It started dragging her in. "No, no," I screamed, holding her hands, feeling her slip away. Her eyes met mine, clear, calm. She mouthed something. "Let go." I didn't. I couldn't. So she did. She kicked off the edge, twisting her body just enough to break my grip. She smiled, swallowed whole. The tunnel snapped shut. I lay there, shaking, empty. The whisper returned. "Now you know." And then, light. Blinding. I was back in the hallway, standing in front of the closet. Door closed, mirror intact. No blood, no broken glass, no smell, like nothing ever happened, except my shirt was still wet. And in my pocket, Lisa's wedding ring. I sold the house 2 weeks later. Didn't pack much, didn't need to. They can have the furniture, the photos, the closets. I kept only 2 things, Lisa's ring and the scars. No one believes me, of course. Not the cops, not her mother, not even me, some nights. But then the lights flicker, or the heater kicks on when it shouldn't, and I hear footsteps in a house that's no longer mine. I know he followed me, not with chains or claws, but memory. He doesn't need walls. He lives in silence, in grief, in the spaces we don't seal. Some nights I dream of the chair. Some nights I dream of her, still down there. And some nights I hear her voice again. You should have let go. I always wake up with her ring in my hand. Even if I left it in the drawer, even if I locked the drawer.